You ruined the game with that massive health bar. Disappointed face. This was a real comment left under one of Ouroboros' videos back in the day when Elden Ring was still in its infancy. The comment is implying that by leveling his vigor to high degrees, Ouroboro is somehow spoiling his game experience with Elden Ring. Or more specifically, other players' game experience, since Ouroboros' videos are mostly PvP invasions. But let's ignore that tiny little fact for a second and focus on two specific things in the comment that can easily be accidentally dismissed but are actually two key components for understanding the mindset of the average Elden Ring player: the implied stigma over vigor and the word ruin.
You're ruining it.
I'm quite sure that at some point you may have heard the phrase, "You don't need vigor if you never get hit."
Get a load of this!
Nice person.
Some gamers merely say it as a friendly jest due to the sheer absurdity of the phrase, because not getting hit is something that everyone plans on doing every time they play. It's just not really under their control now, is it?
What in the fuck?
But you'd be amazed at the amount of people who actually mean it. And this is a bit concerning, to be honest. For those unfamiliar or who haven't put 2 + 2 together by now, Vigor is a stat in Elden Ring that controls your HP. The higher your Vigor, the longer your vigorous red bar will be, and the more punishment you can take, as each point will give a tiny boost to your maximum HP. How much you get out of each point will depend on what your current Vigor level is. To visualize this for your comfort, Vigor increase is pretty much a bell curve. You start getting somewhat decent investment on the first few levels, which will start getting higher as you reach 28 Vigor. 40 points will be the moment where you reach your first soft cap, which means less and less points of HP until you reach the second soft cap, which is 60 points. After this, the amount of HP you get per point is kinda dog water. But up to 60, it's pretty fucking good. And I know you may think that Vigor is useless because all Elden Ring bosses pretty much two-shot you anyways, right? I mean, you'd not be the first one to arrive at such a conclusion, even though this statement is false because almost no boss can one-shot you if you have 60 Vigor. But unless you're already an accomplished challenge runner like Gino Machino or Scumnut, let me inform you that for you, little turkey sandwich, Vigor is not a useless stat. It's actually your best friend. And this is because, like we said before, higher Vigor allows you to take more punishment, which translates into allowing yourself to make more mistakes. And this is crucial for learning and improving. Peeps online really like to yap about how useless Vigor is and how unfair bosses are, as they also explain how wildly mashing the dodge button doesn't seem to be working for them.
Roll! Why won't you roll when I press it?
Seemingly failing to grasp the concept of improving through your mistakes. And it's kind of a vicious circle. It's hard to learn from your mistakes when bosses outright one-shot you due your lack of Vigor. You start believing that Vigor is useless. You try to find ways to cheese the boss. You succeed in cheesing the boss, but fail to learn and improve. Next boss will be even harder. You need more cheese, and so on and so on. This is the reason why you sometimes may find gamers in multiplayer running around with the body consistency of a wet napkin. And don't get us wrong, you can play the game however you want because at the end of the day, that's what it's for. We're not telling you what to do. We don't care if you get one shot or if we one-shot you. We're simply advising you to consider not complaining if you're actively choosing to get one shot by not leveling Vigor.
Oh my god.
Plus, you don't even need points in damage stats in the early game because weapon upgrades and Ashes of War already give you insane damage boosts. You may see this as another type of cheese or a way to ruin the game, as our initial guy implied, but the difference between optimizing yourself and simply summoning or using Margit's shackle to beat the boss is that you actually learned something that will help you in all aspects of the game. Not just one boss, not just PvE, but also in PvP. And that takes us to the second part of this video. The word ruin.
You're just ruining it.
And no, I don't mean those insane retail prices that ruin your chances of finally getting your hands on anime feet.
No!
I wouldn't worry about those, because instant gaming has got your back. As a website with over 10 million satisfied customers, Instant Gaming spits on the overinflated prices assigned by the man and offers great leniency to those economically challenged poggies who really want their fourth anime armpits video game. You can rest easy knowing that all of the amazing discounts in games, game cards, and subscriptions you can shop for in instant gaming are safely backed up by great Trustpilot reviews, alongside night and day customer support. And of course, it doesn't matter if you built an altar for Gabe Newell or Bill Gates, nor what console has replaced your dad's photo in the family picture book. Instant gaming will always have you covered.
But wait! There's more!
By clicking my custom link in the description or pinned comment and creating an instant gaming account, you will participate in a free giveaway where you'll be able to purchase anything of your liking. No purchases necessary. Just creating an account is enough. So what are you waiting for? Those morally questionable games won't add themselves to your Steam library. Huge thanks to Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video. We've seen the word ruin being used in many shapes and forms when referring to Elden Ring. Apparently, to the player base, literally everything ruins Elden Ring. Spirit Summons ruins Elden Ring, co-op multiplayer ruins Elden Ring, meta PvP ruins Elden Ring, invaders ruin Elden Ring. At this point, let's just say that Elden Ring ruins Elden Ring. They throw that word around quite freely without realizing the huge exaggeration they're making.
This guy fucking sucks. Look at him! Smug fucking piece of shit.
Ruining something means to completely destroy it beyond repair, and there's only very few things that can be completely ruined in this game. One being, for example, your first experience, topic that we've covered previously on this channel. In our opinion, putting in absolute minimal effort and letting other people carry you through the game completely ruins your first experience. It doesn't matter if you come back later to try and beat the game by yourself. First impressions are always the most lasting. And as far as we know, you can't really experience a game for the first time twice. Rushing through the game without really savoring it nor learning absolutely anything is not what constitutes a great experience. But what about the other points these gamers are making? Do any of these things actually ruin the Elden Ring experience? Well, not really. Let's take invasions, for example. Many gamers will say that invaders ruin their game experience, or worse, their day. I'm sorry, but that's such a funny scenario to imagine. Like, imagine a dude completely spazzing out in a mix of anger and sadness just because he happened to interact with a game mechanic he willingly walked into. It's just pure comedy gold. Anyway, why does an invader exactly ruin your game? I mean, you're still playing Elden Ring as it was intended. Do they ruin it because they can beat you? Let me ask you then, what differentiates an invader from a regular mob or an NPC invader? Some people can't even distinguish a normal invader from an NPC invader, but they sure are quick to complain though. Anyway, mobs and NPC invaders can also beat you and make you restart the area, and NPC invaders are much stronger than any regular invader. They can be beaten with the correct strategy, and so can be regular human invaders. In fact, want to know the easiest way of beating invaders at any point in the game? You just have to level Vigor. Yeah. Big coincidence, huh? We've previously talked about this in one of our videos. To summarize, any 2 or 3 people with high vigor can be massively difficult to deal with, regardless of skill level. Take it from us. Because we invade a lot. The easiest invasions are the ones where we find players with tiny amounts of vigor because they can be easily disposed of. And if they lack skill, their strength resides in numbers. In order to keep those numbers, they need to not die. And what better way to not die than leveling Vigor? See how everything just comes together. But even if the bad red man kills you, is it really that much of an issue?
Huh?
I mean, just pick up your runes and try again the same way you do when you die to a mob or a boss. It's not really a big deal, and I can't stress that enough. But the people that claim that invasions ruin multiplayer don't know this. Or worse, they willingly ignore it. It almost seems as if they don't care if the solution is right there. Same thing goes for everything else. Spirit summons ruin the game? Don't use them. Co-op multiplayer makes the game too easy. Don't engage in it or handicap yourself to make it harder. Invaders ruin your game? Stop allowing them into your game by not summoning people or learn how to beat them. Trust us, it's not that difficult. Gankers give you a hard time. Try to overcome the impossible odds or simply leave and block them. None of those things ruin Elden Ring, because the game does give you a choice. The problem is that most people keep choosing the same thing while ignoring the ways to overcome the issue or circumvent it. And then they complain. I mean, at this point, Are these features really ruining your experience, or is it you the one who's ruining it? There's no denying that a few aspects of the multiplayer could use some polishing and quality of life enhancements, and it's totally okay to request and talk about them in a civil and open-minded manner. But that doesn't mean that we can't work with what we have, you know? Elden Ring is what it is, and claiming that arbitrary stuff that you particularly don't like can ruin the game is pretty juvenile, to be honest.
Huh?
Instead of complaining, try to learn, try to adapt, understand why you failed, and try again. After all, that's what the whole game is about. And stop whining on the ways other people play their PvE, dude.
This is fucking dog shit.